Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the morning devotion with me, Beau. It's going to be Exodus 31 today. You could always check out the archives at my YouTube channel, Beau. It's right there, that French-Canadian name in the top right. And just go to YouTube, go to the search bar, and you could type in my name and you can get to the playlist, go through all the different books of the Bible. And I've even done I'm in kind of the middle of the Quran, doing a reading of that too, so you kind of understand what that source is. It's always good to know the sources. So I love just posting the streams onto my YouTube site. Many people do not read the sources of kind of religious practice. So a lot of people talk about different religious practices or criticize them, but they've never read them. And a lot of people that even claim to be a part of a particular religion don't read it. Now, I grew up more atheist progressive, but I realized that even growing up very atheistic, it's not like I read the Humanist Manifesto all the time, meaning atheist material. A lot of the sources, even for atheism, I just never really read. Even though I read some of them growing up, I didn't read all of them, and probably not the most important ones either. And so it's amazing how a lot of us are just, filled with hypocrisy, right? We can't even see it. We're blinded to our own hypocrisy because a lot of times we claim something or we speak against something or even for something, but we don't really know what it says. And that's what we try to, in a sense, get rid of, on the channel, is just by reading the source. And so it's beautiful. We get to read the Bible together and just go through it. Today we're going to do Exodus 31. And I love this section, man. This is unbelievable. I mean, if you've never read the Bible before and you pick up the Bible and you read it with me, I think you'll be pretty shocked, as I was when I first read the Bible. It was way different than I thought. Coming from more of my background, I was against the Bible, and I thought the Bible was written by mad monks on a mountain somewhere. And that's just what I thought. I thought it was used to kind of manipulate people to get money so, people could be rich. And, I had a lot of presuppositions that were way, way off. But it was just filled, the heart was just filled with a lot of hate. And so sometimes when you just have a hateful heart, you can't help but hate on things. And so that's just what comes out. Anyway, through reading the Bible, man, my heart softened right up. And I was convicted, challenged on everything. Everything I believed on the outside of me and everything I believed on the inside of me. But boy, the biblical writing was like a surgeon just going in to your mind and your heart and just revealing truth with such clarity on our condition as human beings, on the condition of the world, of the problem with this world, why this world and us human beings cannot get it together. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've been alive 50 plus years now, and through my years, it's all the same. Voting, people in office, it's the same rhetoric over and over and over and over again, same fights over and over again. I'm not saying don't fight them, but I'm just saying that they're, it's the battle of the minds, man. And it's constant. And we can't seem to get things correct. We try. There's no doubt that human beings give it the old college try. Our effort is somewhat there, but we're amiss. Something's wrong. And the Bible speaks to this problem greatly and dominantly. and even go so far to say that we need saving. Okay, so we're talking about the tabernacle, chapter 31. I love this. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Look, I have specifically chosen Bezalel, son of Uri, grandson of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with the Spirit of God." Now this is cool. Do people in the Old Testament, are they filled with the Spirit of God? Well, you can answer yes. They, at times, are filled with the Spirit of God. This isn't the first time we've seen this, by the way. There was a time in this same book, early on, where it says the Spirit that was on Moses, this wonderful gifting of God, of wisdom, ability to judge the people, was also given to 70 other men. So we see that God is the giver of gifts. He's the one who gives. This isn't something that's in the New Testament as far as its original concept. This is something that we see throughout the beginning of the Bible, is that gifts are given. They are just that, grace gifts. Something that you kind of go, wow, thank you. Again, in a world that is more atheistic or more secular, you would think that you wouldn't even celebrate Thanksgiving, because you really have nobody to be thankful for, because it's your ability. It's you. You're kind of like, you do it. You get the glory. You get the credit. But you celebrate Thanksgiving when you believe that you've been given something. You're thankful for something that has been gifted to you. So you have someone to be thankful for. And sometimes we just have to ask, what kind of society is it that's not thankful for anything? What if your kids are not thankful for anything? They don't thank you as parents because they don't need you, right? They don't need you as parents. They don't see you as benevolent. They don't see you as a parent. They just see you as a kind of a functional tool to make sure they're safe or something. What if there's no Thanksgiving at all? Man, that would be really interesting. And maybe that's what we're seeing in our world, is that people are no longer thankful for anything. It's all just privilege and position and duty. Yeah, we have no more need to be thankful. But this is not how the biblical writing goes. Notice this guy, Bezalel. By the way, that is a interesting name, I find. And it says he's the grandson. He's of the tribe of Judah, by the way. So that's kind of cool too. But notice, it's a given Spirit of God that fills him. And what does it do? It's giving him great wisdom, ability, and expertise in all kinds of crafts. Now, I love this too, because it tells me that, God, you are a giver. Okay, I can come to God today and say, God, what is the gifts that you've given me? I trust that you've given me abilities, things that I can do, wisdom, ability, and expertise in particular crafts, particular certain, disciplines. Now, this guy, Bezalel, he had wisdom and expertise and knowledge in a particular kind of work. And we're going to see that. Sometimes we think like the wisest person is the one who's just in the books. That's the wisest person. But that's not particularly the case. You can be in books and you can not be that wise. You can be, a person that studies all the time, and you can be given a gift of wisdom and expertise and knowledge and how to utilize everything that you're taking into your brain. Now, this kind of we're going to read kind of what it says. It says, he's a master craftsman, expert in working with gold, silver, and bronze. That is cool. So he has a wisdom, understanding, and expertise in this kind of artwork. And it says he is skilled in engraving and mounting gemstones and in carving wood. He is a master at every craft. Very cool. You know, most of us have someone in our lives, like a father or a grandfather, or cousin or uncle, that is amazing at woodwork. And they just have a gift for it. And it seems like they can put together cars and make cars look amazing. And, it's really a gift. Not everybody can do these things. Do I see people and I see their kind of differences and what their abilities is like a gift? Like, man, that's something that they've been gifted in. And man, that's something to really cherish and something to kind of go, man, that's really cool. It's unique to them. You know, everybody's got that. I would imagine you don't want to emphasize just one particular gift over other gifts. You know, that every gift has its importance in shaping a human being. You can't just hit it in this way. You know, you can't just focus on this one gift. And that's what humans need, when really all the gifts are needed. Am I receptive to people's abilities and their gifts, or do I kind of knock it? Meaning I knock some, but I like the others. You know, sometimes people have gifts and I'm not very receptive to it because it's not the gift that I think I need at that time. I might need someone's gift of biblical knowledge and their admonishment to biblical truth, meaning they use biblical truth to admonish you, to give you warnings, to give you strong warnings in your life. I might be, you might go like, well, I don't really want that gift. I don't want to receive that. I don't like talking to this person. Man, they always seem to be warning me here. Now, if that's all you had in your life, that might be a little over the top. But you don't want to neglect that admonishment in your life. Could be just what God is wanting you to get. So, in my morning devotion, I have to think, am I okay with people's abilities? And do I want them in my life? The financial advisor who might be gifted with finances. Do I avoid that person? Because I don't want them to look at my, what I do. I don't want to change. I don't want to... See, I might not want that gift in my life. I might go, because it might reveal, that gift that you have might reveal something in me that is not so good. You could see how this, works. And how it really makes us have to think about us a little more. And go, God, am I really receptive to gifts? Or do I avoid being in the body of Christ? Do I avoid coming into the place of worship? Do I meet people before the service, or do I not want to meet them before the service? I don't want to meet them after the service. I just want to go, get what I want, and go and leave. Or am I really open to what different abilities and wisdom that people have? And in order to, receive anything, you got to be around. You got to be around people. So you could see how, boy, sometimes we hide in a cave from the different gifts that people have. And it's usually because of some selfish persons. Maybe we've been hurt in the past. And, but still it becomes selfish. It becomes insecurity. It becomes fear that's running the show. And I have personally appointed Oholiab, son of Ahishamach of the tribe of Dan, to be his assistant. Moreover, I have given special skill to all the craftsmen so they can make all the things I have commanded you to make. Okay, so it doesn't seem like it's just one craftsman, even though it's specified that this one is going to be gifted, but we see that there's also an assistant that's going to be gifted, and there's other craftsmen as well. And so pretty cool. It's nice to have an assistant, people on your side, people along with you, for the ministry and the work. It's not just you. You're not the only one with a gift. You're not the only one. Beau, you're not the only one. There's other people. Oh, but it's just me. I'm the only one with a gift. Oh, man, that's weird thinking. No, there's other people with the gift too. And their gifts shine as well. What happens when we get into this mode to think like, oh man, there's no pastor like me, or there's no musician like me, or there's no whatever like me? Man, we can start becoming super conceited, where we think we really have it all. And again, we're no longer thankful to God, because God's the one who gives it. And if God gives it, then, really, can I boast about it? See, if we really understand that God's the one who gives the abilities, then we become thankful. Now, this plays a part in human society, because now human society is no longer selfish, but now we start becoming thankful, sensitive to being thankful, knowing that our abilities isn't just us, but that they've been given. And so we become now sensitive, and knowing that we can't have confidence in our flesh, but we have to have confidence in something outside of us that gives us ability, i.e. God, right? The deity. We're trusting in the deity and his ability to give us gifts. So we walk humbly with one another. I can't boast in my gift. You can't boast in yours. You can't boast in your ability. I can't, but I'm so smart because I got my master's. I got my doctorate. You can't boast in your education. There's a giftedness that you've been given. See, that's a society that walks humbly. But one that is self-absorbed doesn't need the deity. Everything is about them. So they don't need Thanksgiving. They don't need any kind of thing. They don't need thank you, government. Maybe that's what they would do. Just thank you, government, for giving me money. Thank you, government, for letting me do this. Thank you, government. But then again, what has replaced God? Government. Wow. Now, this is interesting because we're reading the book of Exodus. Who is to be the government of Israel? God. But when Israel will refuse God at one point as government, they will substitute God with a government of their own. That's what we do. So it's kind of interesting, even though God gives us government for our benefit, we mess it up. It becomes an idol in our life. Even government replaces in our mind the deity. It becomes the number one thing. Now, if this is true, you would see a society that would have talk radio and all they would talk about is politics, because politics and government become the god. It becomes the deity, something to argue over. What is the best form? What is the best way? Who's the best ruler? Everything gets focused on that, because that's really what gives you the abilities, is the government. It's no longer God. You can see what's happened in our world, right? Yeah, our world has replaced God with the government. That's become the God. And it's all so clear, right? And it says, What have they been commanded to make? The tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant, the Ark's cover, the place of atonement, all the furnishings of the tabernacle, the table and its utensils, the pure gold lampstand with all of its accessories, the incense altar, the altar at burnt offering with all its utensils, the wash basin and its stand, the beautifully stitched garments, the sacred garments for Aaron the priest, and the garments for the sons to wear as they minister as priests, the anointing oil and the fragrant incense for the place. So it mentions all the items that the craftsmen are to make. So yeah, government can replace God. And this, if you read any books, especially like Brave New World or 1984, or you read the Humanist Manifesto, or you read, what was going on in the Soviet Union back in the day, these kind of places, man, you can see how that's what happens. Basically, the government becomes the deity, the one who gives out to people. So the Bible's just saying that the ability is something that's God-given. And there's special ability that God gives even to craft metal, silver, bronze. That is something that God gives. Man, that is so cool. I just find that, because a lot of times when we think of God giving gifts, we're usually thinking like, gifts of studying the Bible, teaching the Bible, breaking down the Bible, doing Bible study. We think those lines. But a lot of times you don't think the person in the garage who's carving wood, But that can be a gift of God as well. So very cool. It says, the Lord gave these instructions to Moses. It says, tell the people of Israel, be careful to keep my Sabbath day, for the Sabbath is a sign of the covenant between me and you from generation to generation. Okay, it's a generation to generation thing, the Shabbat. Saturday. That's a lot of people think it's Sunday, but nope, Saturday. For it is a holy day to you. Anyone who desecrates it must be put to death. Anyone who works on that day will be cut off from the community. Wow. So again, Israel is a religious country. It is one that you are an Israelite when you come in to faith in Yahweh. That's how this is all set up. And so to refuse and to go another direction is to be cut off from Israel. Now, it's also a reminder of just what a serious deal it is if you want to draw close to God. It is certainly a life and death issue. That's what we're getting in the Bible. That to hang out with God, the creator of all things, a righteous God, a holy God, then we need to be made holy. If we're not made holy, then there's no way that we're going to be able to survive. That there is going to be a death. The day you eat of it, you will die. Surely dying, you will die. If you eat Eve, Adam, there will be a separation, a death between you and me. That's the idea. There is a banishment from the garden. There is a separation, a divorce that takes place. And this is reiterated in these various ways. You will die. You will die again. It's reiterated again, I should say. And this kind of idea of you refuse to listen to God, then, there is a separation. And then it says, let's see, verse 16, the people of Israel must keep the Sabbath day by observing it from generation to generation. This is a covenant obligation for all time. It is a permanent sign of my covenant with the people of Israel. Let me read that again. It's a permanent sign of my covenant with the people of Israel. Let me read that again. It is a covenant obligation of all time. It is a permanent sign of my covenant with the people of Israel. Okay, I think you got that. It's for the people of Israel. And that's who it's for. That's the covenant. It is a covenant with the people of Israel. Is it for all time? It's for all time. Is it from generation to generation? It's from generation to generation. Yeah, it's something that you need to deal with. If you're an Israelite, you're from the tribe of Jacob, then you need to deal with that. This is for you, man. You need to pay attention. This is part of your dealings with God. To neglect it, to avoid it, man, this is your history. And it says, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, but on the seventh day he stopped working and was refreshed. So it shouldn't be a burden. Why? Because you just get to chill. You get to relax. You get to think about the Lord. You get to, man, be thankful. Thankful for the other days that you have the abilities to do what you do. It's beautiful. You get to thank God for your craftsmanship. You get to thank God for your musicianship. You get to thank God for the ability to paint or to do art. Or you get the opportunity, just a day of refreshment, to think about what God's given you. Again, to be thankful. See, in a world of thankfulness, you can stop and thank the person who's outside of you. But if it's all about you, then maybe you don't need to be thankful at all, and you don't need to have a day like that, because you can just be self-absorbed all the time. Or if the government replaces God, then we have a day to be thankful for the government. Boy, are we thankful for Big Brother? Are we thankful for Big Sister? Are we thankful for the overseer of our souls? The government. Oh man, do you see how, we have gone astray. We have gone away. Instead of being thankful, instead of being independently thankful to someone outside of us, we become dependent, grievously dependent on a system. And we become thankful to that system. So if you refuse God, it's not that you become more free, but you become more what? Enslaved. Whoa! To human systems, human hegemonical power structures. You become enslaved to oligarchies, right? Governments that go astray. That becomes you're thankful to them. See, you're not thankful to God. When you're thankful to God, you're thankful to God for those things. You're not dealing with the human system. You're thankful to the deity, to God. You can go be thankful in the woods. But if you're thankful to the big brother, then, big brother might make it an obligation for you to have a special day to honor them. Wow. Yeah, definitely Orwellian, right? Definitely Twilight Zone stuff. But you could see that God, in the Bible, God is creating a system so that people are independent of the human systems, and they're looking at God, which gives great freedom when it's done right. And man, it's really cool that we have the Bible here to show us what that right looks like. And it says, then the Lord finished speaking with Moses on Mount Sinai. He gave him the 2 stone tablets inscribed with the terms of the covenant written by the finger of God. So very cool. You see those themes again of death and separation from God, and that when we rebel from God, we are not going towards real freedom, but we're going towards real death. And that might be the oddity of our world too, right? Is people always think we're going towards freedom. If we just do this, then we're going to hit freedom. But we don't hit freedom. We end up just getting right back into an enslavement. We just can't seem to get away from it. So it's kind of sad. And, we become slave to systems, healthcare systems, whatever systems you want to make up, right? Or think about. We become enslaved to those systems. And that's unfortunate. But it is the condition we need saving out of. We need saving, no doubt. So boy, what a cool thing. Today I can be thankful to God. And I know God is going to give me freedom where I don't need to be in bondage to something else, some other person. I'm free. I can be thankful to God. He's the one who gives me the gift. He's the one that gives me the ability. So super cool. Hey, Mike, thanks so much for the talk about musicianship and the encouragement. Yeah, and you guys all have gifts too. You all have something that God's given you and an ability. And the question always comes down to, are we going to use those abilities, or are we going to just kind of, hide it? Just kind of, go into a cave. So, okay, that was a really fun devotion. Kind of, deep, but important concepts that we see that God is showing us in the Bible, revealing the pathway to peace is the path in Him. First seeking the kingdom of God. Yeah, something that definitely our world has lost in many ways. So, okay, we'll talk to you guys later, and have a great day. Bye-bye.